Welcome, everyone. This is Robin Duncan, and this is our Course in Miracles church service. Today, our topic is called Sudden Shift. Let's go ahead and start with an opening prayer. Take a moment to turn inward, and perhaps you can think of something in your life that is suddenly shifting, or a time in the past, or something coming in the future. It's always good to zero in. In A Course in Miracles, it talks about the value of specifics. So go ahead and tune in to something that seems like a big upcoming shift or one you've already had, perhaps something that you had a challenge with. Sometimes change can seem scary, uncertain. You might feel worried or concerned. So let's turn that over together. The whole thing, every detail. Dear God, as we come together for this topic of sudden shift, we wholly give you our changes and our transitions. Whatever it is we are going through, we are so willing to be divinely guided so that we are assured of a peaceful outcome. Sometimes our situations can look very chaotic and scary, and it looks like there is no answer or no way through. But we know that with you, every problem has an answer. I like to remind myself of this, that with God, every problem has an answer. And as we step back and welcome your guidance, then we can be guided very smoothly, peacefully, and rapidly to the highest possible outcome. May your will be done. Amen. It's so nice to be with you all here today. Thank you for your time and your love and your energy. We've had quite a week here ourselves. We had one of our daughters had emergency surgery, and we have a son today that's facing another surgery, and my brother was just sent to the hospital after a fall. He'll be there for about 2 weeks. So lots of things going on in the family, ways for me to get to practice the sudden shift, right? So this is for all of us, not just you. So I'm right there with you. And it's so important when something is happening, it's tempting when you're scared or shocked, startled by something, that you go back to, I call it the library of the past between our ears. It's very tempting to go back into that library of the past and try to find an answer quick because it's happening in front of you and you need to know what to do and how to respond and what should I do now. But that's not a good way to go. Because if we go into the library of the past, we are very likely to recreate the same problems over and over again. So, right there in that sudden shift, it's so important to pause and to go up before you go out and to set that goal of peace. I call it making a reservation for peace. If you're not sure how to do that, you can download, let me grab it here. You can download a free copy of my Miracles in Prayer book at freeprayerbook.com. So you can go to freeprayerbook.com. You can open up to prayer number 7 out of 150, and you can find the prayer called Making a Reservation for Peace. And before you launch off into your situation, trying to navigate your way through, try to read that prayer out loud to yourself, maybe more than once, and invite that power and guidance from the source and creator to guide you all the way through. Today I'm sharing a miracle story. It's called A Moving Miracle After I Let God Take Over. And there's a reason I called it this. I think it was a couple of years ago, I shared this story in full. Today I'm giving you the mini version because I'm actually focusing on a different aspect of this story. But there was a time when we were living in a great house. We were really enjoying ourselves. It was actually a leased home, and it was very close to the high school. And we had 3 boys in high school. They could just walk around the corner, get to the school. It just seemed like the best possible situation at the time. And then all of a sudden, apparently the owners of that particular home, they were having some financial challenges and they didn't tell us about that. And then all of a sudden they came in and said, we need the house back in 3 weeks. And you can imagine, a full family of five at that time and two dogs, and just a lot going on. And now we need to find another place to be in 3 weeks. I'm sure people in here have had, more challenges than that. But for us, it was quite a challenge at the time because we needed to stay in the school district where we were. Otherwise, the boys would have to change their high school. There was so many other considerations. And so, even as much as we study A Course in Miracles and as much as we know better, I think we launched off and did exactly the wrong thing. So, today I'm here to tell you about that, share what not to do. Actually laying out the do's and don'ts in your notes to make it very clear. And I'm asking that you not do what we did. Now, ultimately, we ended up with a miraculous answer, but it was after we finally laid down our need to solve this and to ask God to show us what needed to happen. So I'm going to call on you to ask God first before you launch off and do what we did. So we got this news. And immediately I'm like, okay, what do we do? We have to find a house. So what do? I go to the realtor, multiple listings, and I start looking at all the homes in the price I thought we could afford. And guess what? There was really like nothing in their immediate school area that we could even afford. Everything was much higher than what we were paying. That was problem number one. So I start looking at the perimeter, which was areas that I didn't like so much, but I thought, well, maybe we could afford this a little bit better. So already I'm starting to negotiate my happy idea down. I'm thinking, well, I can only afford this. So maybe we have like one less bedroom or a smaller garage. Or you start just compromising and settling and trying to fit yourself in to what you think you can do or afford. And so I'm actually looking up these homes. I'm contacting realtors. Do you know, I don't even think I prayed. I think it just rattled me so much at the time. Now I know better. And I would say this was a good, I don't know, like 18 years ago. So I've learned a little bit along the way, and so have you. But as much as I loved A Course in Miracles, it was like out the window. I need to move. So we contact all these realtors. We actually start putting in our applications for different homes, and we were turned down on 8 different homes because either they didn't want our 2 big dogs or they didn't want our 3 teenage boys. And they're wonderful, but the people don't know this. And so we were just hitting walls everywhere we went, like it just wouldn't work. And or they had the home ready after we needed it to be ready. It was so complicated and exhausting. And so ultimately, we end up at the Embassy Suites Hotel. I know it sounds nice, but we were there for 9.5 weeks. And it was a lot to have all of us piled into this hotel room. And we only did the Embassy Suites because we both have businesses. So he was in one room and I was in the other room. And it's all one suite, but it's 2 rooms. If you've ever stayed there, that actually worked out the best as far as we could tell. So there we are at the Embassy Suites. We've got our dogs in a paid shelter where they are probably not happy there. So it was just a mess. And the money is just clicking away, in all these situations. And I'm still looking for places. I'm on Craigslist, I'm on the realtor logs, multiple listings, and we just can't find anything. And the money is just evaporating because you're staying at a hotel and it costs way more than it does to stay in a home. So anyway, I finally just was absolutely exhausted and my mind got quiet. And I remember sitting in the lobby of the Embassy Suites. And again, at this point, it's probably about maybe 8 weeks in. And we'd been there a while. And, hotel sounds nice until you've been there 8 weeks and you'd really rather just be home. And I'm sitting in the lobby and, not for very long because the money's running out to even be in the lobby. So I'm sitting there and I'm talking with God. And I said, God, I think I forgot you in this process. I said, I think I thought I had the answer or I could find the answer. And I'm just going to give all of this to you. I am going to give up my need to solve this. I am going to be a happy hotel person. That means, and I was just trying to lay it down, that means if I'm in a hotel the rest of my life, I'm going to let it be. That means I really let it go. Right now, I don't want to be in a hotel the rest of my life, but it means I've let it go. I'm going to let all things be exactly as they are right now. And I'm going to give up my need for it to change or be different than it is. That's how we know we've really laid it down. Accept where you are, accept what is, and then let God enter. So that's what I did. And it actually felt so nice. I'm sitting in the lobby and I thought, wow, I actually feel so much better. It was so nice to just stop for a while. I didn't know where it would lead, but I just imagined it would be better than it was. And so the next day it was very quiet. Nothing really happened. I felt much more peaceful. And however, the money's still clicking away every night that we stay there. And then the second morning after that prayer, I woke up and I just felt this very strong thought, and it said, go to Craigslist. And I laid there in bed and I said, nope, 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 nope. I'm not going to Craigslist. I already told God, God has this. God, you decide what to do. I'm not going to Craigslist. That is my old yappy voice on the inside of my mind that's telling me to go to Craigslist and go solve it again. And I'm like, nope, not going to do it. So I'm laying there in bed and the voice says again, go to Craigslist. And I said, no, not going to do it. I really thought it was my ego because that was my whole situation was I kept trying to decide what to do. But second time, I'm like, nope, I'm not going to Craigslist. God, you have this. I imagine you can do this without Craigslist and without my help. So I'm just going to lay here. And then I heard it again, go to Craigslist. I'm like, okay. And I felt very peaceful. It wasn't like, go to Craigslist, you have to do something. It was go to Craigslist. I need you to go to Craigslist. So, if any of you don't know, Craigslist is just a multiple listing of ads for all kinds of things. Some of those things are real estate and rental homes and things. So I go, okay. And I'm nonchalant. I go over to my computer, I turn it on, get myself a cup of tea, and I turn it on. I go to Craigslist. And there's nothing. I am looking at the first page of the listings. There's nothing there. And I'm like, oh, I knew that was just me trying to come up with something again. And the voice says, go back a page. And I'm already saying, you know what? I don't want to go back a page. It gets old. Like the listings get old. And then you start calling on things that are already gone. It says, go back a page. So I roll my eyes. I used to be less obedient. I'm much more obedient these days. And so I said, okay, I'll go back a page. And then it says, go back another one, even before I got to read that page. So I go back another one and I'm scanning the listings and it said, Peralta Hills Estate. I'm like, Peralta Hills Estate. Well, Peralta Hills was a place that my husband and I just loved. We used to walk through there. We'd go take our car just to go on walks. It looked like Hawaii. It's a little subdivision of Anaheim Hills, California, but it's beautiful. It looks like Hawaii. And we just thought it was so wonderful. We would drive through there. It's about a 3 mile span that just looks like Hawaii. And it was anything in there that we even liked. I think it started at $17,000 a month as a lease. And we're like, well, okay, so we can't live here, but we can drive through, we can walk. So on Craigslist, I see Peralta Hills Estate. And of course, my eyes just go straight to it. And it's this reasonable price. And I thought, oh, this must be like somebody's garage or something. So I decide I'll play along and call. And the lady I end up contacting, the realtor, yes, you have to hear what the name of her business is, and it's ARC Property Management. And I just started laughing out loud because, the whole God thing. So it's ARC Property Management. And so I call her and she said, yes, I'm happy to show you the property. And I'm just thinking, wow, this is actually less expensive and it's on an acre and a half. It's fully gated. It's like almost a 5,000 square foot home. It's gorgeous. It's in the neighborhood of neighborhoods that we want to live in. And I'm just like, really? And so we go over there and it's just amazing. We couldn't imagine something better. And it turns out, that I asked the realtor, I said, how long has this been available? I had a big for lease sign sitting out front. And she said, about 9 weeks. And I thought, oh my gosh, you know, if we had just done what we normally do, which is drive through there, just having a good time, or go for a walk like we normally do, we would have seen it. We would have known it was available. We would have never had to go stay in a hotel at all. Do you see what happened there? We had decided what to do and how to do it. It was a waste of time, waste of resources, waste of energy. We were so exhausted by that whole process. And then when we finally turned it over, and I just said, God, you decide. And we were willing to listen for what felt peaceful and compelling. We were just guided like silk all the way through it. And that home was really lovely. And you know, Anne's been there, Char's been there. It was just the sweetest home. It was very tranquil. It would look like Hawaii, which we love so much. And, you know, we ended up living there for, I think, about 3.5 years. And then we moved to another house in the same neighborhood and we lived there for another couple of years. So I just want to say to you today, as we talk about sudden shift, I'm just hoping to get a little foothold in your mind that when you have a sudden shift, pause. Get God involved right away and don't let go of that hand. There's already a divine plan for you, exactly for you, for your family, for whoever's involved. There's a divine plan already mapped out. It's already available. What we have to do is ask for it and receive it and follow the guidance that we receive. And it ended up just being this miraculous place to live. And so many people came there, and we had many healings there, and people meeting there that are still lifelong friends. And it's just amazing. So, sudden shift, time to go straight to God, go up before you go out, and a happy outcome is sure. You know, the one of the reasons that we have such a time with a sudden shift, we've learned in A Course in Miracles, is that when we first accepted the false idea that we could be separated from God, what happened there is we were terrified. And so our first experience of change, like we were one with God and now we think we're not, and now it feels like we're not. And so because of that shift, we became terrified of change. And so now in your life, if anything shifts or changes, the first temptation is to judge it as scary and wrong or bad or even terrifying, to kind of freeze and go, oh no, did I do it again? You know, so be aware that that's why we're a little reluctant to change, or maybe someone in your family is scared to change. But A Course in Miracles tells us our first experience of change was really scary. And so we still have that trauma every time something shifts. Today, as we look at the sudden shift, you can take out your notes there. You can see I have a nice copy of my notes here. I wanted to write down some do's and don'ts during a sudden shift. These are just suggestions, things that I wish I had this list back there when we moved. I wish I had this list. It says a simple guide for moments when life changes suddenly. When life suddenly changes through a move, a new job, illness, loss of a loved one, or unexpected change, remember this: you are not alone. Maybe you can just say that to yourself. I am not alone. Ever. You are not powerless. I am not powerless. You are being guided. I am being guided. God loves you and would only choose happiness for you. Maybe you can write that in. Fill in the blank. God loves me and would choose only happiness for me. We want to get right back in touch with what is true, what is real, and what is rightfully ours. It's all about choice and decision. It's not about seeing it or knowing it or feeling it or touching it. That comes after we make the choice. Back in the day when that move happened and we were given the information that it was time to move, it just looked like this was the time. I wish my husband and I had joined hands and said, God, we joyfully accept this move. It looks like we're supposed to move. Where are we going? It must be wonderful. Where would you have us go? What would you have us do? What would you have us say and to whom? And you're guiding all of this, and we will relax. We will choose a peaceful, happy, wonderful outcome. And we can't wait to see what is in store for us. And I wish we had done that. So I hope you can borrow that from us today and apply that in your own situation. And you see, if we had done that and we had stayed in a calm place, we probably would have went for a little drive just to shake out the madness. And we would have zipped around through the neighborhood that we love so much. And we would have seen the for lease sign and we would have said, oh my goodness, a for lease sign. How wonderful, because we need to move. And we would have called her up and she would have told us this home was available. So you see how that could have been so perfect. But no, 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 no. I had to get in the middle, and my husband got in the middle, and we thought we knew better, and we were out there just shaking all the bushes and getting everything done. That did not help. That created delay and a lot of exhaustion too. So today we are going to do it differently. Here are some of the do's that you can do right away. Number one, do set the goal for peace immediately. And like I say, you can do that right with my prayer book, prayer number 7 at freeprayerbook.com. You're going to make peace your first priority before reacting, before deciding, and before planning. And it's tricky because you have to remind yourself, okay, stop. Even before I decide that there is no answer and I don't know what to do and now I'm scared, I'm going to get God involved. And so say that prayer of peace. And the reason peace is so important is I want you to think of the truth over here in your mind and the illusion over here in your mind. The new home that you need is over here in the illusion. The peace of God, which is yours forever, is over here in the truth. And if we make our goal something in the illusion, we're going to blind ourselves and not be able to hear the voice of God that's over here. But if we will pause instead and choose the peace of God as our goal, then we will hear God. We can follow the guidance from God. And the result is that over here in the illusion, which is the effect, we will have the home that makes total sense. All right, so do set that goal of peace. It's in the truth. Your temptation is going to be to set your goal in the illusion, like I need a home fast. No, 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 no. We don't invest in illusions. Our goal is not in illusions. Our goal is always in the truth and our oneness with God, to know that, to feel that, to welcome that guidance. That guidance comes in through the Holy Spirit, fills our mind, gives us information, and then our eyes report the effect of that healing in the illusion. Peace is what allows you to hear God's guidance. When you are in fear and chaos, you're going to hear the voice of your ego. When you are calm and peaceful, you're going to hear the voice of love and peace. They're both talking to you all the time, but the one you hear is the one you choose to focus on and listen to. And the one that you choose to listen to is the one that will determine the outcome you will have. When we were focused on listening to our ego saying, you need to find a house, you need to do it fast, you need to do this right away, you need to do something. That's the voice of the ego. We were listening, and you saw what happened there. Not very much, right? It was a total fail. When we revised our goal, listened to the voice of God, let go of needing anything to change, just so that we can receive what is real, what is true, what God has to say, and then we receive that information. I even resisted that a couple of times because I didn't know the difference. And then I was guided to that perfect place where we could be. Number 2, do pause and make room for God's plan before taking action. Maybe you can underline that word before. A lot of people take action and they take God along for the ride. I call that come on, God. Let's say I go looking for a home and I find a home that I love and oh, it's wonderful and oh, it's great. And I say, God, that house at 100, Apple Lane or something, that house, God, that house is so good for us. God, we need that house. God, can everybody pray that we get this house? That's called come on, God. That means, God, I've decided on my outcome, and I want you to come along and I want you to make this happen for me. Don't do it. It's not a good way to go because, as A Course in Miracles says, in no situation do we know our own best interest. Like maybe you think 100 Apple Lane is the right house for you. What if it's not? What if your next door neighbor is going to be a nightmare? What if, all of a sudden that street is the worst possible place to live on? What if all of a sudden it has a stench coming from under the ground and nobody can get rid of it? Nobody knows where it's coming from, and you have to endure this stench. You just have no idea. You think that's a great house. You don't know. This is why we want to turn everything over to God. God would never choose that for you. It will always be a peaceful, happy outcome. So you want to pause and you want to make room for God before taking action, before you decide on the house. If you forget, and you do decide on the house first, that's okay. You can say, God, we found this house. It seems really good. It looks really good, but will you decide for us? And if you decide it's not the right place for us, take it away. We don't want it. We want only your will be done, because then we are assured of a happy outcome. So it's okay if you forget until a few minutes into the process, but be sure to continue a full surrender over to higher consciousness because it knows so much more from its vantage point. Under number 2, we're going to give yourself a moment of stillness. So, whatever that looks like, just to quiet your mind, maybe take a long hot bath or a long walk, sit in front of a candle, quiet your mind, meditate if you know how, sit up in bed and close your eyes and spend time with God and listen. He's got much to say, and there's a whole plan being unveiled to you. And it might come to you, or it might come to your partner, or one of your kids, or one of your neighbors. It might be a neighbor knocking on your door saying, this happened to us for the second move. We're just in our garage. We're just packing things up, and we don't know that we're moving, but we were just cleaning things up. A lady drives up to our gate, gets out of her car, yells over to us, which was like 150 feet away. She's yelling to us. She said, "Are you looking for a new home?" And we're like, "Maybe. Why?" And she's like, "There's one right at the other end of the neighborhood." We would have never known. It never even came on the market. So sometimes other people will bring you that information. So what we're looking for is God's guidance, but it can come through many different channels. So get quiet, let God know you're listening. And when we listen without agenda. You're not listening for where is my house, because you might miss it. It could be that God is saying, I want you to go down to the market and buy some tomatoes. And you think, that's odd, because why do I want to buy tomatoes right now? But it could be that when you get to the market with the tomatoes, there's somebody in the tomato aisle that is an old friend that's a realtor. You happen to get to talking, and she says, "Oh, I have the perfect house for you and your family." So be aware, guidance is going to come in from all over. God is an omnipotent, infinite, divine intelligence. It can come in so many different ways. So we are not praying for this house and where it to be. We are just listening without agenda. God already knows you're looking for a house. God represents divine intelligence. So that's already inherent. We don't need to give God a list. We simply say, you take this over, you guide us, you show us the way. We are just listening without agenda. We are going to have stillness and invite clarity, because clarity invites guidance. You do not need to react right away. Just pause. It has nothing to do with your body. It has everything to do with your mind and listening to the infinite, powerful mind within your own. God's voice speaks to me all through the day. This is what it says in A Course in Miracles, lesson 49. It is quite possible to listen to God's voice all through the day without interrupting your regular activities in any way. In quietness are all things answered. Sometimes we think, but God isn't answering me, and I don't know what's happening, and I don't know what to do. Have you gotten quiet? Did you read what that said? In quietness, all things are answered. So make some quiet time. Even if it's in your bathroom, wherever it is, make quiet time and say, God, I'm making room in my mind and heart for you to be with me, to talk to me, to guide me. I want your will to be fulfilled in my life and for my life. This is the only way I know it will be happy and peaceful and carefree. Number 3, do ask the Holy Spirit to guide you in everything you do. You are not meant to figure life out alone. Ask for help with every decision, big or small. Here's a simple prayer. Holy Spirit, decide for God for me. Show me what to do next. I will step back and let him lead the way. These are straight out of lesson 155. Just a few quotes to show you the direction that I hope you will take next time you have a sudden shift. Number 4, do forgive everyone and everything quickly, including yourself. You know, in that situation where we have to move, I might have gone into some self-talk where I say, wow, I should have asked them if they were wanting the house back, or I should have done that differently, or why didn't I put that in the lease that we signed that they couldn't do something like this? So I might go right into a situation of judging myself, thinking I should have done this better. I should have seen this coming. I should have reacted more quickly. Or I might go into judging the people. How could they do this? They're asking us to move in 3 weeks. Don't they realize we have a family and all these things to consider and everything to do? So, do you see how quickly we can launch right into judgment? I could have launched right into the judgment that there is no houses available. There is nothing for us. There is nothing we can do, and there is no way through. And we're going to have to pick up and move to another place that we don't like and have a school that the kids don't like. I could have decided against myself. I was very tempted to decide against them. I could have decided against my God. I could have decided against my outcome. And I think we did a little bit. That's why we went on the 9-week scenic route. But you're not going to do this. You're going to remember this session and you're going to say, nope, I'm going to start with God, walk with God all the way through. I'm going to set my goal of peace. I am not going to derail that. And I am going to let God show me the most happy, amazing, remarkable outcome, better than I could have ever imagined. And that is what I will plan for. So that's what maybe you can do this next time. So forgive everyone and everything very quickly. Why? Because grievances block the light and miracles are seen in light. In order for us to see the right answer and to have our eyes opened and to have the vision revealed, we want to be grievance free as much as possible. When we are judging another person, ourselves, or God, or the outcome, when we are in judgment, we are saying we are not the holy child of God. We are something else, something less, or that person is not, and they are less, or they are something else. So the moment we declare that one of us is not the holy child of God, then we have denied our own divine inheritance. We have denied the guidance that comes from our source and creator, and we will not hear it, right? So we want to make sure to be grievance free and wide open to this perfect guidance that is available to us at all times. We're going to release blame, release guilt, release from judgment. Lesson 121 says forgiveness clears the channel so guidance can be heard. Forgiveness is the key to happiness. It's because every time you forgive, you're letting go of these grievances that block the light from your own awareness. And forgiveness opens that light back up again. It's like a funnel of God consciousness that's always available, but it gets clogged up with our own judgments. So next on number 5, do take one step at a time. You do not need the whole plan. You are learning how to trust, and trust is developed. You only need the next step, and then the next, and then the next. Guidance comes step by step. It says in the manual for teachers, those who are certain of the outcome can afford to wait. So be patient. Divine timing is always involved. Even, when that realtor put the first lease sign up in front of that house, there's a divine timing involved. That house was waiting for us, but we didn't know it because we weren't listening and we weren't even asking for guidance. So the sign was up there like, hey, there's a house for lease. This is your house, but nobody knows because we were off trying to solve our own plan. So keep in mind that guidance comes one step at a time. You might wish you had the whole plan. Like, how do I know if this is the right house? You just wish God would put a big red bow on it and say, this is the right house. But you're going to pray every step of the way, and you're going to be guided with peace. That's how you'll know. Because every one of us are learning to redevelop our trust and our peace and our connection with God. And so you get one step, and then He gives you another step, and then He gives you another step. And then it just goes like that. And you think, why can't I just get more information sooner? I want to know what's going to happen. And, I asked God about that one time. I said, God, how come I just keep getting these steps and I can't really see where we're going? And he said, because it's almost like, Robin, he said, it's like there's an oasis I'm trying to get you to. And the oasis has everything, and you've forgotten about it, and it has every answer and every resource available to you. But you think you're out there in the desert. You think you're lost. You think I've forgotten you. So he goes, I'm giving you like step by step how to get to that oasis. He said, if I gave you everything right now in the desert, he goes, you would pitch your tent and you would start camping and you would never make it to the oasis. So he says, I have to give you a step and then another and then another. And that will keep you going and keep you motivated so that I can show you the whole picture as your mind is able to receive it. And I thought, all right, okay, right. Patience, not the easiest thing, right? The patience of Job. Be willing to accept divine timing. Maybe you've asked God for guidance and you have not heard a thing. Right after I did that prayer about being the happy hotel person, I did not hear a thing for about 36 hours. Not a thing. And I could have said, well, God, you're not even answering me. I mean, you should give me an answer like right away. What's going on there? But I didn't. I just enjoyed the rest. And it really was nice, actually. And it wasn't until the second morning God gave me that information. Why? Because He could show me how to find it on Craigslist. I don't know that I would have seen it another way because it was already on one of the past pages, which I had already decided I didn't want to look at because I decided they were too old. And it wasn't until I followed guidance that He showed me where it was. Keep that in mind. All right, number 6. Do trust that something good is unfolding. I want you to imagine the best possible outcome, almost like you're a kid at Christmas and whatever you want is under that tree. I want you, when you ask God to guide you, to know this is going to be good. I can't wait to see what happens here. And I've seen it happen so many times where when you are willing to let God decide for you about what it looks like, you are just going to be wowed. You're going to be amazed. It's going to be better than you expected. It's going to be shockingly good. God is very resourceful, way more than we are. And so, at least from our vantage point, so you're asking something that can see way out and way far, and with every resource available, to align that up for you. So, be willing to expect the best. Even if the situation looks uncertain, you will be safely guided for protection, redirection, healing, correction, a miracle in progress. God's plan for me is perfect happiness. Workbook lesson 101. You might even write that down on a post-it a few times, put it around your house. So when your mind is starting to go into, oh, this is bad, this is terrible, maybe you just got laid off, or maybe your relationship is breaking up, or, everything looks so uncertain and you're very tempted to decide against yourself and your future. No, 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 no. Get those post-its out. God's will for me or God's plan for me is perfect happiness. Put it in front of you. Say it out loud to yourself. Thank God for it. Do not decide against yourself. Lessons learned. You don't have to walk the useless journey that I did. You can save yourself all that time. Number 7, do stay willing to be guided by only God's voice. How do you know? God's voice is peaceful, it's calm, it's reassuring, it's consistent, and it's persistent if you are asking. The ego's voice is obnoxious, it's anxious, it'll make you feel scared or send a chill up your spine. It'll say, you need to do this now or nothing's going to happen. You better get on this right now. That is not God's voice. That's the ego's voice. If you're not sure, ask again. Dear God, I'm not sure I'm hearing you. Would you please guide me? Tell me what to do. Tell me how to do it. I just need your guidance right now. I'm listening and I will follow your guidance exactly as I receive it. Even if it doesn't make sense to me, I will follow it anyway and make room for it. I call it putting a white blanket out in your mind. Leave all your thoughts at the perimeter of that blanket. Imagine yourself sitting right there in the middle of that white blanket with God and let God guide you about everything and listen without agenda. Willingness at this point is more important than certainty because we don't have that certainty, because we don't know what's going to happen. So we are borrowing certainty from the one that has certainty, but we must make room in our mind to receive it. And don't worry, if you feel like you can't quiet your mind down, God is going to give the information to somebody else to bring it to you. Or it might be in a book that you read or a song that you hear. God will find a way. You don't have to worry that it's almost like if you were walking your little 4-year-old boy and he doesn't really know his way around, and maybe he's trying to find something or figure something out, and you know exactly where it is, but maybe he's so worried that he'll miss it or he doesn't know how to find it. You could literally carry him there, right? Or you could find a way in his language to let him know everything is fine and he has nothing to worry about. And if he'll just let you show that to him, he will find this out. So just keep in mind, we do get scared, but it's not a problem for us to be scared. It's that when we are scared, remind yourself that God is not. When you are worried, remind yourself that God is not. When you don't know the answer, remind yourself that God has the answer and it will be given to you. We are one with God, right? One high to low, wow. One with God, and therefore we have access to every answer, but it gets presented to us in a way that's not overwhelming, that is timely, and that does make sense. So we're going to make room for all of that. You will not be disappointed. Willingness is more important than certainty. You do not need to know everything, one step at a time. Unfortunately, that's kind of how it works. So be at peace with that and enjoy the journey. Your understanding is not necessary. I started laughing the first time I read that. Workbook lesson 25. In 28, it says, I am willing to see things differently. You only need to remain open. That's it. Just keep that door of your mind open. As you wake up in the morning, God, I give this day to you to be used for your purpose according to your will. Thank you for the highest, happiest, most remarkable day. I am willing to have the day you have for me, and I will be guided by you. I will meet the people that you have for me to meet. I will say what you have for me to say, and I get to be the beneficiary of all of that joy. So thank you, God, in advance for the highest, happiest, most remarkable day. I receive it according to your will. So start your day with prayer. Don't have to say all those words. You can just say, God, I give this day to you. I happily follow your guidance all along the way. May your will be done. You can say, God is love, and I'm here to serve that greater plan. And we know a happy outcome is assured. Keep on track with listening to the one that has every answer, that is not afraid, that is not scared, that is not worried, that is not anxious, that has the plan. The plan's already in place. It's already done. It's already been given. It is being revealed to us in a way that we can receive it And our part, very, very important. I have it at the end of your notes there. Our part is we are not going to decide against ourselves in any way or shape or fashion. We're not going to decide against others. We are not going to decide against God, and we are not going to decide against our own happy outcome. All right, let's look at some don'ts here. And, these are just little reminders so you don't do what we did. Don't lose some precious time, as we call it. Number one, don't panic. Fear blocks clarity. I think it's really helpful to accept any change exactly as it is, because God is always shaping our lives, always bringing to us what would be the best and highest experience to help us remember our true, perfect, flawless self as He created us. So try to be at peace with the change. Fear blocks clarity. When you feel fear rising, pause and choose peace instead. And even if you don't feel peace, choose it anyway. Maybe you wake up in the morning and you're just nervous about the whole change and the shift, and you just can't get a grip on that. Right there, before you even get up, you can say, God, I'm feeling really scared. This whole thing is just making me a nervous wreck, but I choose peace. And I ask you to guide me all through the day. I will call on your peace until I have my own. I will borrow your certainty until I have my own. And you just grab onto his hand and just let him lead you all through the day. The biggest thing is to not decide against your own capacity to receive and know that peace that God has for you. Number two, might want to put a star next to this one. Do not try to solve the problem yourself. That was Robin's mistake. Hope you'll always remember. See, I've made a lot of mistakes. That was a big one. A, you are not meant to carry anything alone. B, trying to solve everything by yourself does not work and often leads to stress, confusion, exhaustion, and failed attempts. C, instead, ask for guidance. Listen. Follow the peaceful and compelling guidance you receive. You need do so little because your little part is so powerful. So what is your little part? To be willing to let God lead the way. I didn't get to the Miracle, which was fantastic, and we loved living there, and it was affordable, and it had everything we had wanted it to have, and it was available. I mean, there was everything right about it. The Miracle did not happen until after I had abandoned my own plan. Where would you have me go? What would you have me do? What would you have me say? And to whom? These are all in the workbook for students. In lesson 71, it says only God's plan for salvation will work. Well, salvation includes everything and everyone. I even like to substitute the word happiness. Only God's plan for happiness will work. So let God do what God does best and step back and surrender the whole thing and go along for the ride and have a great time. In lesson 49, in quietness are all things answered. Be sure to make room for some quietness. If you can't get there, that's okay. The answer doesn't depend on you. It is easier to hear when you are making room for quietness, but sometimes we just can't seem to get there. Our mind is just as busy as it can be, racing thoughts. And so just give it your best and say, God, I'm doing my best. And I don't know if I can even hear you. My mind is so loud with fear. Will you please find a way to get through to me? And I will listen, and I want your information. So make that clear in your prayer that you are listening and you are committed. God's plan for me is perfect happiness. Remember your post-its all over the house. Do not decide against, do not settle. You might think, well, that means I'm homeless, or that means I have nothing, or that means I'm going to live in a far worse situation. Do not do that. God cannot get through that. If you decide that is how it's going to go, do you know that God must let you have that? You get to be right instead of happy. We want to be happy. Number 3, don't assume the worst. Oh my goodness. I've done that. You've done that. We've all done that. You do not know how this will turn out. Be willing to expect the very best. Expect the very best. Even if you have to go to the dentist for a root canal and you are dreading it and you think, oh my gosh, this is the worst thing, I want you to expect the best possible, happiest experience of a root canal anyone could ever have on planet Earth, right? Or even in this universe. I want you to raise the bar all the way up and expect it to be great. And who knows, you know, maybe you're a single person and the dentist ends up being your next husband. Who knows? It's just make room for miracles, make room for greatness, and let God show you that this can actually be something really quite fantastic. Anything can in God's perfect, happy plan for your life. You do not know how it will turn out. And so many blessings begin as unexpected changes. So when a change comes up in your life, I want you to shoot to the top like, wowee, what are we doing now? It's like riding a wave in the ocean. I know God will find me the very best beach to place me gently upon. Expect the best, not the worst. Number 4, don't blame yourself or others. That will hold you down. That will delay a happy outcome. Remember that grievances block the light and miracles are seen in light. Blame keeps the mind stuck in fear and judgment, where ego is the coach that you will hear. Forgiveness sets you free, and the Holy Spirit is the coach you will hear. So, whatever's going on in your sudden shift, whatever the fear thought is, whatever the problem is, whoever you think you are judging, take a moment and remind yourself to forgive each and every aspect or person, place, or thing that you are judging. Take a moment and let God know you are forgiving, blessing, and releasing them. You have no need to hold any judgments against anyone. You are fluid, you are flowing, you are in God's plan, you are in God's hands, and you have nothing to fear. Number 5, don't try to control the outcome. I think we did that as well. We did that wrong, right? Control is the ego's substitute for trust. The ego always thinks it knows best. It always speaks first. It always speaks loudest. It always tries to solve everything itself. Try to avoid that temptation. Let go of control as if you're in the back seat. You are not in the driver's seat, and let God take you in his car and show you the best possible outcome. Trust brings peace. If you don't have trust, just let God know, I'm willing to trust you. I may not know how, but I'm going to try my very best. I want to trust you. I am willing to trust you. Will you please show me how this needs to go? That's enough. Nothing more complicated than this. Number 6, don't rush decisions when you feel upset. Wait until you feel peaceful and compelled before taking action. You might think, well, there's this house over here, but it's not really big enough. Or there's this house over here and it costs too much. But I think I'll go ahead and try to apply for each one. No, 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 no. You wait for a 10. That's my suggestion. If it's a 6 or a 5 or a -3, God doesn't do 6s. God does 10s. And what I say is throw it back. I know sometimes that takes bravery because you think there is nothing else. But if the ego hands you a 6, you know what I mean, right? A 6 out of a 10, maybe it's a place to live, but it's just a little bit messed up. There's something just a little bit wrong with it. Throw it back and say, God, I just found out about this home, but it's just a little bit not happy, not a 10, and you only do 10s. I want to have a 10. I want to have what you have for me. So I'm going to lay the 6 down or the 7 or the 8.5. I am going to welcome your 10. And if it is this house, tell me. I'll go right back towards it. But I have no desire to have anything less than what you have for me. So I think of it like a hot potato. If it's not a 10, throw it back and ask again. Sometimes your ego likes to get in there and get you hooked up to something a little subpar, a little mediocre. Watch out for that. Your ego always wants you a little bit in pain, a little bit not comfortable, and don't play the game. All right, we have number 7. Don't forget this can become a miracle. Even difficult situations can lead to unexpected blessings. Miracles often begin with disruption. So miracles are natural. When they are not happening, something has gone wrong. So don't forget, don't give up before the miracle. There's something good that's going to happen here. If you haven't seen it yet, you have not seen the whole picture, and we want the whole picture. So throw it back, quiet your mind again, ask again, and let God know that you want God's answer, which is always great. If it's not great, it's not of God. Number 8, I say above all because this is the temptation we have about just about everything. But do not decide against yourself or other people or God or your own positive, happy outcome. This is taken directly from Robin's book of Hard Knocks. So I decided against, look what I did. I decided against myself. I decided against others because I kept thinking, well, nobody has the right place. Nobody can do the right thing for us here. I don't even think I involved God. So I decided against God. And I definitely decided against my own positive, happy outcome because I was looking what I thought we could do instead of what was happy. And so always make room for happy and then let God show you your way to happy. One simple rule to remember is to make a reservation for peace first. Second, listen for guidance from God. Third, take action only when you feel peaceful and compelled to take action. If you're feeling anxious, worried, scared, nervous, no, 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 that's the ego talking to you. Make room, white blanket in your mind, get back on that blanket and make room for peaceful guidance. It may not come in the moment you ask. It might come while you're taking a shower, blow drying your hair. It might come while you're doing dishes or laundry. For me, it comes when I'm doing simple things because I'm focused on something that is not complex and my mind is open and I'm relaxed. And then whenever I'm cleaning, I tend to be in a good place because it makes me feel like my mind is opening up instead of closing down. And I tend to get wonderful guidance when I'm doing just simple things around the house. Under number 8, above all, it says, do not assume failure ever. Always expect the best. Do not assume loss. Do not assume punishment. Do not assume a negative outcome. Do not assume the worst. Expect and plan for the best possible outcome because God is love. He loves you. He would never choose pain or sorrow or disappointment. He would always choose the best, the very best. God's will for you is perfect happiness. Lesson 101. Be sure to make all of those steps that you can practice for yourself anytime you have a sudden shift. Here's a few quotes from the course. I just thought they were pretty, wanted to include them at the end. In chapter 18, it says, do not underestimate the power of your willingness. It's your willingness combined with the power of God that things happen. The power of God Himself supports your little gifts and makes them mighty. Your willingness to give is all that is required. The Holy Spirit will respond fully to your slightest invitation. And of course, I will step back and let Him lead the way. So I hope today you've gained a few steps you can try the next time you have a sudden shift. I would also like to do a quick guided meditation before we close today. It is called the Sudden Shift Reset. Keep these things in mind because it's so beautiful when you can see the other side and get to that happy outcome. I'll give you one more quick example before the meditation. But I had a friend, I was at the time teaching something called Advanced Spirituality, and it's kind of like people that had been studying A Course in Miracles for a while, so we could go much deeper into the curriculum and not keep redoing the basics. And it was a fun group. It was all in person. And one of the people in our group, they showed up for the evening as I was teaching, and they said, well, can you all pray with me because I am I think they said, I'm getting laid off tomorrow. They were given word it was coming. And they said that the whole company was downsizing and they were worried that would happen, but they were really trying to not judge it, not make it mean anything. But now they heard they're next on the list. This was going to happen the next day. So we all got together, did a quick prayer, and what we did is we gave the whole situation to God. We said, God, we are not going to judge this as something terrible. We are not going to see it as a loss. We are not going to see it as a delay of income. We are not going to assign all these negative meanings to the situation for this person. We are going to together give this whole situation to you. You decide for them. If they get laid off, we're going to know that's one more giant step towards their greater happiness. We don't know what that is, but we are going to expect the best. We know that whatever happens tomorrow, then that is how it will be. And we accept your plan without judgment. And we trust that a happy outcome is sure. So they go to work the next day. They told us all about this when they came back the next time. They went to work the next day. They got laid off. And they thought, well, okay, I'm laid off. Okay. But they remembered the prayer from the night before and they refused to judge it. They refused to decide against themselves or their income. They just left that white blanket open in their mind. And the following day, they got called back up and they got rehired and promoted. So they actually had a much higher income, a better job, a job they liked so much better. And so out of the ashes of this layoff came a much better job opportunity and a much greater income. And they were just like, God is love, right? So keep in mind, the only one deciding against us is us. So don't fall for that trap. God will never decide against you. God will never lead you into a lesser situation. So don't do that to yourself. Take a nice, quick moment to get comfortable, quiet your mind, allow yourself to be calm, peaceful, listening to that higher voice in every aspect of life, flowing along almost like you're in a boat, but you don't need any oars. You don't have to guide anything. You can sit back, relax, and let God show you your way all the way through the river, guiding you perfectly, smoothly, and timely. Just breathe that in. This is called the sudden shift reset. We're going to lay down your plan so God's perfect plan can be revealed. Let's take a moment now, settle in to where you are. If you are sitting upright, you can place your feet gently on the floor. If you're laying down, make yourself nice and comfortable. You can rest your hands softly in your lap or next to you on the bed. Gently close your eyes. Take in a slow, deep breath and allow all the air to expel from your lungs. Again, breathe in slowly and release all the air from your lungs. Taking one more big, deep breath in. Allow your whole body to relax. Your shoulders are softening. Your jaw is relaxing. Allow your breathing to become easy and natural. For the next few moments, you can give yourself permission to stop trying to solve anything. Just relax and breathe. Be here now. Be willing to receive guidance. Be willing to pause and make room for answers that are not of you, Now bring to your mind a situation where life has suddenly changed, or that it could suddenly change. It may be a change in financial circumstances. It might be the loss of a loved one, or a big move, a job change, unexpected health news, a change in relationship, or any moment that feels uncertain or different than you expected. Go ahead and select one moment of change right now and see yourself in that moment. Notice the first reaction of your mind. There may be a feeling of wanting to control. You might be tempted to predict the worst. You might want to jump in and start planning and solving, get everything going in a certain direction. You might want to avoid the pitfalls and make a plan to defend or guard against something. You may want to plan very quickly. Simply notice, without judgment. There may be a habit of fear that wants to take over. But let's pause together and imagine hearing this truth very gently inside your mind. There is a perfectly smooth and happy plan waiting for me. Breathe that in. The plan is already formed. It is already magnificent. It is already happy. We are asking for that plan to be revealed. It is already mine. Say that to yourself. Even now, even in this situation, even in this sudden shift, I may not see it yet, but I trust it is already here. It is prepared for me. It is given to me. I allow it to be revealed. I am willing to be patient. I will allow for divine timing. There is a perfectly smooth and happy plan for me, because God is love. Now imagine that you are holding your own plan in your hands, your old ideas and strategies, your fears and timelines, your old expectations about how things should work. Notice how tightly you used to hold on to them. And now very gently, imagine setting that plan down. Not throwing it away, not judging it, just laying it down Say to yourself, I am willing to lay down my plan. I am willing to let go of how I think this should go. Feel the relief that comes as you release control, as you relax into God's plan, making a wide open space in your mind. You are creating space. You are distancing from fear. You are creating room for something wiser to lead you. You can say to yourself, I step back and let God lead the way. Feel the shift. There is nothing to solve. You are no longer pushing or forcing. You are allowing. Now imagine opening your hands in your mind as if you are making room. You are making room for something better than what you could ever plan. Make room for guidance. Make room for help, great help. Make room for miracles. Say to yourself, I will make room for God's plan instead of my own. I make room for the highest, happiest, and most remarkable outcome. Feel the spaciousness in those words. You are allowing the future to unfold. You are setting the goal for peace. We can say, Dear God, my goal is peace for everyone involved in this situation. I will step back and let you show me how peace is accomplished. Breathe it in. And now place this situation gently into God's hands. And we pray these words. God, decide for me about all of this. Show me the most ideal steps. Guide me step by step. I will listen without agenda. With your love and guidance, a happy outcome is sure. Now allow those steps to be given, one by one, as He leads you gently to that beautiful oasis, where everything works perfectly. Say to yourself, I will follow what feels peaceful and compelling. If I'm not sure, I can ask again. I will trust that God's plan is for my happiness. Breathe it in. Now imagine the whole situation unfolding in a new and glorious way. Doors are opening. Help is appearing. Solutions are forming. Support is arriving. Everything is falling into place. See the plan working. Feel the gratitude. It's so easy and effortless and happy. Say to yourself, God's plan is working in my life. I am willing to trust the outcome. Breathe it in. Now take in a long, slow, deep breath and gently let it go. Feel the peace in your body. Feel the love flowing down and through your entire being. Feel the willingness and joy in your heart. And know this: no matter what sudden shift you face, there is already a perfectly smooth, happy plan waiting for you. As you lay down your plan based on the past, and you step back, and you make room for God's plan, you will be shown the most ideal outcome, all the steps for the best, highest, happiest, and most remarkable outcome. Now let's breathe that in one more time. Receive it to your core. Expect it. Celebrate in advance. When you have given anything to God, expect greatness. You will have nothing else and nothing less. I'm now going to count from 1 to 5. And as I reach 5, you will open your eyes and feel fantastic, optimistic, and excited, ready for your next change or shift so you can practice and see all the wonderful things that come your way. And dear God, we thank you for this time together. We are listening without agenda. We plan on greatness. We come from greatness, and we are greatness according to your creation, your will, your plan, and your purpose. We have no other plan. May your will be done, that we may be assured of happiness in every aspect of our lives. Amen. Counting back now, 1, 2, bringing your awareness back into this room. 3, wiggling your fingers and toes. 4, opening your eyes. And 5, feeling refreshed and bright and energized and free and excited for what comes next. It's a treasure hunt with only good things all along your path. Welcome it, marvel in it, celebrate in advance. Welcome back. All right, everyone, I'm going to meet you in the Miracle Cafe in 5 minutes. If you have any questions or prayer requests, I'm happy to talk with you about that, or something that is a sudden shift in your life and you need a little boost of extra confidence, inspiration, prayers, whatever you need. We're there to share that time together. So I'll be right back here in 5 minutes. Thank you for being here today for Sudden Shift. And let's let every change be the best change we have ever had in our lives, and let it be far greater than anything we could possibly imagine. All right, I'll be right back. Bye for now.